Hey guys, Dean here. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to test out any knife in CSGO without even owning it. That means you don't need to have the money to buy it on the Steam market, and this can be used for quite a few different things. Like, for an example, if you're thinking about buying a knife, but you don't really know which one you want to buy, and you want to see how it looks, if it looks cool, if you're making a good decision or a bad decision before you buy it, this is the way to test them. Also, if you can't afford a knife and you just want to try them out, you can do this. And also, this is just a cool thing that you can take some fun screenshots with and just try out knives if you can't afford one, or if you just don't want to waste money on one, right? Without using any kind of risky skin changes that could get your account banned. And this is working on CS2, aka Counter-Strike 2, the brand new version of the game. So let's jump into it. So first of all, to actually do this and do what we want to do, we need to enable what's called the developer console. Now we can do this in CS2 by going to the settings menu at the top left of the game, and from here we can just enable the developer console by going to keyboard and mouse, and where it says toggle console, make sure it's on this default key. This is the tilde key. You can change this, but this is what it should be by default. And also there's a search button now in CS2, so you can just type in developer and you can bring up the option directly. So just click on enable developer console, it'll take you to the setting itself, and just press yes. It should be default and no, but you want to select yes so we can actually use it. Now if you played CSGO before and you enabled it already, it should already be enabled because they've moved CSGO practically to Source 2, but it's the same game, so it basically uses your old settings. So we're going to go to the dashboard now, click in the home button, and the button under your escape key on the keyboard, which is called the tilde key, kind of looks like a comma or an apostrophe. Press that, and you can see we now have opened up the CS2 console. Now this looks a little bit different to the CSGO one if you've seen it before, but it basically does the same thing. The commands are a little bit different though. For an example, there's commands like exit on CSGO, which quit the game, is now quit. So some of the commands have kind of changed a little bit to go in line with Source 2, but they're mostly the same. So first of all, we want to boot up a map. So one thing to note is this method is only going to work on offline mode or on a self-hosted server. You can't do this online. Since we're not using any kind of tools or programs that would get us banned for this, and we're doing it in a safe way, that means we can only do it with the official console. The official console cannot be toggled on an online server because you can't enable SV cheats, right? So this is only going to work offline. It's why it's safe, because it's using commands that only come with the game. First of all, we need to load up an offline game in a map. So you want to type in map, which is the command to open up a map, and then select whichever map you want to open, okay? Personally, I like the map which is called DE Anubis. I really like how that map looks, so we're going to launch that. Now you could just do this, but you want to do game mode and then casual after. These are separate commands, but you can type them in on the same line. This is going to launch the map Anubis or whichever map you want to launch, and it's going to launch it on the game mode casual. Press enter, and now it's going to spam with some random stuff. We can press the console key again to close it, and it's going to load us into a game which is self-hosted on our computer. Now this is just going to be a game with bots, but that's how we're going to try this. Now, the reason we'll launch it in casual mode is, and then select whichever map you want to open, okay? Personally, I like the map which is called DE Anubis. I really like how that map looks, so we're going to launch that. Now you could just do this, but you want to do game mode and then casual after. These are separate commands, but you can type them in on the same line. This is going to launch the map Anubis or whichever map you want to launch, and it's going to launch it on the game mode casual. Press enter, and now it's going to spam with some random stuff. We can press the console key again to close it, and it's going to load us into a game which is self-hosted on our computer. Now this is just going to be a game with bots, but that's how we're going to try this. Now the reason we'll launch it in casual mode is because the command we need to actually type in to enable us to drop the knife, so this whole process works, doesn't work in other game modes like, I believe, deathmatch, and those game modes where when you get a kill you get like a bonus weapon, and the drop key is G in Counter-Strike, but the bonus weapon that pops up is also G. For some reason that conflicts with the command, and then we can't drop our knife, and it's just not possible in that game mode, so that's why we're launching to casual mode. So just wait for the server to boot up and for it to host, and then we'll move on to the next set of commands. Okay, so now from here we're on the team selection screen. It really doesn't matter which team you select. I'm just going to select the CT, and now we're just going to wait for the countdown timer. Go into the console again with the same key, and you want to type in SV_cheats. You can either type in svcheats1 like on CSGO, or svcheats enable. It does the same thing, and then you can use svcheats disable or 0 to disable it later. But we're going to do svcheats enable or svcheats1. Like I said, they both work, but svcheats1 always works, so just use that for now. And what we want to do is we want to go to our knife, which is the 3 key, and you can see we can just inspect it. We've got the default CS2 knife, but what we can go ahead and do now is go in the console and type in mp_drop_knife_enable space 1. That's going to allow us to drop our knife because we can't do that by default on CSGO. So now when we press G, we can drop our knife, and you want to look at the knife, okay? If we walk over it, we can pick it up again, but you want to drop it, look at it so you can see the text that it says knife, and then open the console. From here, that's where we're going to type in the corresponding command of the knife we want to change it to. So the main command is subclass_change and then space, followed by an ID, which is the ID code number of the knife we want to change it to. So I'm going to show you all the knives in this video. You can skip ahead to find the one you want to actually use because it's going to take a little bit of a while, but it works the same. It's just different in terms of the ID. So the default knife is 524, as you can see, same knife. Also, ID 503, which you'll notice, this looks a little bit familiar, is the classic Counter-Strike source knife, which is actually in CS2, which just looks absolutely awesome. This brings back such memories of like CS 1.6, CSS. Really love this one. So that's also the second one. 500 is the bayonet. 505 will let you spawn the flip knife. 506, as you can see, is the gut knife. My friend actually had one of these gut knives. He had a gut knife Doppler, which looked absolutely incredible. Now, unfortunately, I don't know how you can change the skins. I think you can probably do that in the config file in the CSGO folder, because you used to be able to do that with CSGO, so it'll probably work the same in the CS2 folder. And I think that's how skin changes used to work. But remember, skin changes aren't allowed. Don't download one because you might get VAC banned. Definitely not recommended. But there's probably a way to do that. And if I ever find out like a legit and a safe way to do that, I'll let you guys know. 507 is none other than the Karambit, one of the nicest looking knives. No one can argue with that one, especially in Crimson Web. 508 is the bayonet, as you can see, the M9. 509 is also the Huntsman, which is kind of similar, right? Now, a lot of people like the butterfly knife. You can go ahead and use ID 515 for that. Really cool flick animations with this one. This is one of the top ones, which I wish I actually owned. Now, a little bit of a controversial one here, the Falchion. You can use ID 512 for this one. I think that's how you pronounce it, Falchion knife. Not sure if that's French or... 516 is the ID you want to use if you want these little bad boys, these shadow daggers, which are kind of cool. I actually wouldn't mind owning these. They have some pretty cool inspect animations, and they also look kind of funny if you just go up and shank someone like that. They would definitely make like a really good round-winning kill, I'm not going to lie. 514, that's going to be the Bowie knife, or the Bowie knife, which is just absolutely massive. Imagine getting shanked with that thing. Wouldn't like to go up against this. 519 is the Ursus knife, or Ursus, which actually looks really cool. I've never seen this one. I don't think I was even playing CSGO when they added this. Maybe this is part of CS2, but yeah, I've never seen this knife. This just looks super swag. ID 520, that's the Navaja knife, or Navaja, however you want to say it, which has one of the coolest draw animations. Just look at that, and if you inspect it, it's like a more classical one, kind of like you'd expect like a biker just to flip out or something like that. More of an antique vibe. ID 522, that is going to be the stiletto knife, which is kind of cool. That's like that really thin one that you can kind of flip a few times. Really cool for screenshots. The quality of the models are really high in CSGO, or CS2. 523, that's the Talon knife, as you can see, which is basically just the Karambit, right? It's just like a different variant of it. I can't actually tell which one looks cooler. I think Karambit looks cooler, but this has like those serrated edges. I think it looks cooler as a default knife though, with no skin. ID 518 though, that's going to be the survival knife, which is kind of like a deep wilderness blade. Getting pretty crazy how many knives there are in CSGO and CS2 right now. I didn't even know there was this many knives. 517, that's the paracord knife. Another newer one which I've not seen, which has this cool like rope strapped around it as the handle for the blade, kind of like a DIY military blade. If you just look at the texture on that rope, it looks really nice. I don't even know if I'm on the highest graphics, but looks incredible. ID 525 is none other than the skeleton blade. Just like the skeleton key, this thing looks absolutely sick. Look at that hole in the middle that you can use to spin on your finger. Incredible. It's got like electrical tape around the blade. Super cool. This map as well that we're playing on, this Anubis, which is kind of like an ancient Egyptian map. You can do some really nice looking screenshots on this. This is kind of like, even though we don't have the workshop anymore, you can take your screenshots on this map because it has a really nice skybox and a really nice distance with, I believe that's probably going to be the River Nile, right? Because it's set in Egypt. And then not to waste any time, we have the last ID, which is ID 521. Now, I've put them in a really weird order, but this one is the Nomad knife, which kind of flicks on one hand and then he flicks it onto his other hand. So these are all the knife commands for CS2. I hope you guys enjoy testing around knives and stuff like that you don't actually own. Going to be kind of cool just to play in offline bot lobbies, just to play with them, and then just see, shall I buy this? Maybe I'll buy it in the future, or maybe just play offline with them. So there's a lot of stuff you can do with this set of commands. Have fun with them. Let me know in the comments below if you can't get them to work or if you need any help, and I'll try and help you out. And if there's any other commands I missed, because I believe these are all the commands for the current knives, but when CS2 adds some more crates and some more skin collections, then there will be some more knives. So if you're watching this video far into the future, then comment below any new codes in the comments, just so people can use them, share them around. Make sure to like the video and subscribe for more CS2 videos, and I'll see you next time.